couple more matchups here before we turn it over to Cody with our overreaction theater. But Romo versus Carlos. Not a lot to say here. Carlos projected to get 96. I think actually 98, close to 100. Romo projected to get 82 for the day.
That's the update after Thursday.
That's the update after Thursday. So yeah. Definitely see not good things in Romo's future.
I would agree.
Carlos's team is super stacked. Josh Allen and Brees Hall. I think both number one in their respective positions currently. So just awesome.
Saquon's the number one running back.
Saquon number one.
Yeah.
So Brees is number two. Okay.
I have him at 12 right now.
At Brees at 12?
Yeah, Brees Hall is at 12, at least in our league. Yeah.
Oh, as far as points for. I mean, what's shocking is because Braylon Allen is getting that unique
lot more
split,
carries. Yeah.
A lot more carries than anticipated, but Brees looks great. I mean,
yeah.
When it comes to real football. But,
I mean, he was the second drafted running back, so potential is up there.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone really saw, but Braylon Allen looks he's
really good.
He's pretty
Imagine if
big.
The Cowboys had drafted him.
Yeah. I mean, he's not Derrick Henry size, but he's pretty big for a running back. And I mean, he just bounces off guys too. Like he had a carry last week that looked like he was definitely should have been tackled in the backfield. He just lowered his shoulder, trucked the guy, and ran for 5 yards instead of a loss. So,
and he looks shot out of a cannon too. It's not like he's building up speed. As soon as he gets the ball, he's boom through the whole.
Yeah, that's a great pair of running backs they've got there for sure.
Oh yeah.
So Carlos has Brees Hall, Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker back in the lineup. So that's a pretty hefty dose of good running backs there are all projected to get over double-digit points. Versus Romo's Travis Etienne and Rashad White. So check box to Carlos.
Advantage Carlos.
Yeah. Josh Allen versus Kyler Murray. I love that matchup. Both are projected all around 20 points. So that's great.
Josh Allen against the Ravens, but as you said, Kyler against Washington. I might lean Kyler in that matchup there. Advantage Romo.
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree there. Now Carlos's wide receivers are definitely the question mark here.
Yes.
Boom or bust defined by Carlos's team at the wide receiver position. Xavier Worthy and Rashid Shaheed. Both are capable of monster plays. Both are capable of duds. And we
volatility personified.
Yeah, 100%. Again, I like the Xavier Worthy matchup against the Chargers defense this week. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to open it up, because of the running back situation not being stabilized, and I think he's going to let it fly a little bit more, get those guys involved. So Xavier Worthy might have some good upside, but Rashid Shaheed's matchup's pretty tough against Atlanta. Again, we talked about that. Those corners and DBs, those safeties are very good at Atlanta. So I don't think they're going to allow that big play over the top. They know Derek Carr's going to try to go for it, and they're probably ready for it. So I don't see that happening.
Plus, Ricky Morris as the defensive coach coming in as the new head coach there, changing things around with the bigger focus on the defense helps.
Yep.
Yeah.
On the other side, Amon-Ra St. Brown and Amari Cooper, I actually give the nod
to Jawan Jennings. Hey, don't forget his flex spot.
And Jawan Jennings.
Come on now.
I have to give the wide receiver nod to Romo in this, surprisingly.
I would as well. Yeah.
Tight end, Trey McBride versus George Kittle. I like George Kittle. I mean, Trey McBride's against Washington, but is he through concussion protocol?
I would call that a wash. I think if they both play, the way tight ends have gone this year, they both could get 4 to 6 points maybe. I mean, you're hoping for a touchdown, but in this matchup, McBride versus Kittle, I'd call it a tie.
Yeah.
That's the biggest question for me is if McBride plays. If he doesn't, then I don't know. I don't know what tight end he's going to plug in there, or if he just goes without. But
he'd be scrambling. Who would he even drop? He might just ride without a tight end. Yeah. I think that's something Carlos did last week when Kittle was out. Carlos went tight endless, and that didn't matter. Still won.
Didn't matter.
Yeah,
but I don't know if we'll see what Carlos does. I'd be surprised if he leaves McLaurin on the bench after last week, but Kenneth Walker's still questionable. So if Walker doesn't end up playing, I imagine he puts McLaurin probably there. But yeah, I don't know if it's quite as straightforward. With Kyler Murray against Washington, that could be a big game if McBride plays. Especially that stack could help him out a lot. And then St. Brown can always have a big game, so might not be as clear cut as it seems. But Carlos is his team has performed better so far for sure. So
yeah. And I would say his running back advantage is much greater than Romo's receiving advantage. So I would still overall lean Carlos.
Yeah.
Especially if Walker plays. Yeah.
Yeah.
Walker plays. But Detroit is a good run defense, right? I mean, they are a good run stopping defense. So that will
good defensive line
downgrade Kenneth Walker a little bit. And he is coming back from that oblique injury. So, and Charbonnet's actually been pretty good in the last couple of weeks. So I see potentially more of that timeshare, right? I probably would have leaned hard into the paint with Kenneth Walker having that 70-30 split, but I think it'll be more of a 60-40 now going forward, just to kind of keep both guys healthy.
Well, he's always kind of getting dinged up too, so that
I think this one's an oblique this time.
He's the better running back, I think. I mean, Charbonnet's was really good this last week, but it was against Miami. He wasn't that great the week before, as far I think he only ran for like 2 yards a carry against New England. But yeah, with Walker just seemingly getting dinged up all the time, maybe they do just make it more of a timeshare to keep him fresher. But who knows? I hope that's the case, but we'll see. So
yeah, I mean, it seems like the team kind of agrees with you as well, because I mean, when they came in to the year, it thought it would be a time split, and then they clearly week one gave Walker 20 plus carries. So the team, just like you, likes him more as a RB1. So we'll see if they do go back to giving him 20 carries, or if they do kind of split it up a bit more after seeing what Charbonnet can do.
Yeah. I think Charbonnet is a volume guy, right? As the more touches he gets, the better he gets in the game, and that's been true over the last 2 weeks. So
yeah.
Defensively, right? We talked about Romo starting the Cowboys 6 points. Jets going up against Denver and Bo Nix at home. I see the Jets getting at least a pick and a fumble, maybe even a touchdown in this game. So
you think they get double digits for his defense?
12-point output.
Yeah, I think that's what Romo was hoping for tonight, and unfortunately only ended up with 6.
Yeah, and then of course Carlos has the best kicker in the league, Brandon Aubrey.
Yep.
Shockingly missed a kick tonight.
He did. Ricky kind of predicted it, although it was tongue in cheek. It still happened.
He barely missed a 50-yarder,
Yeah. Just wide left, I think.
It's so crazy too. When he kicks those 50-yarders, the ball is still up by the top of the goalpost. It's not even close to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. Even the one he missed, it was off left, but it still had, yards to go before it was coming down.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a leg on him, that's for sure.
Yeah. And he gets a kick indoors for most of his games, so that helps.
Yeah. I really wanted to see him kick that 70-yarder. That would be so awesome.
I think we all did.
When he hit from 60 in this game, looked like it would have gone 65 at least. So
with ease. He didn't even look hard, and he hit it right down the pipe.
Last week had a 65-yarder.
Yeah.
Manny wants to get rid of kickers. Come on.
I want to get rid of kickers.
No.
All right. So Carlos, I'm giving you the edge there. Cody.
Edge Carlos.
Tim.
Edge to Carlos. Yeah.
Edge Carlos. All right.
Sorry, Romo.
Sorry, Romo. It's gonna be a 1-3 start.
Not a massive edge, but
just
edge.
Enough. Right? Performance edge. Yeah. Just based off historical experience with the league so far. Let's talk about Tim versus Ricky. All right. This is a big game here, as Tim, you're trying to get off the schneid with your current start, right? I believe that this is the week that's going to happen. Ricky was talking a lot of mess as the week led up to it with Neighbors. He thinks we were putting the kibosh on Neighbors, and he did get hurt tonight, which is unfortunate. But the way it was going, I was like, oh man, this guy's going to get 25 points before the end of the night, because they were force feeding him the ball again. So only left with 14. But Ricky's team, right? We talked about it. He's going with the stack now with Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. He's got Ayuk in there. Ayuk has not performed well. I don't think this is the week Ayuk breaks out. He's got a tough matchup against New England.
Mm-hmm. So, strong pass defense.
Strong pass defense, right? Cody, you're the resident Niner fan here. You think the Niners will be able to break through that defense, or will it be a tight game against New England?
Their offense is performed really well, I think, in all sorts of advanced metrics, DVOA, EPA. They're number 2 across the league offensively. It's their defense that's been the problem. Even with no Debo, even with no Kittle, we've seen what Jennings can do, Mason, Ayuk. I think they do break through and score a lot of points. It's whether or not Ayuk is getting open, the ball's hitting his hands and he's dropping it. Maybe timing's off with Purdy because he didn't play any training camp. I think better days are ahead for Ayuk. I could foresee him maybe not having as big of a game as Jennings did last week, but I could see him having a strong game here with his run after the catch ability.
Well,
Tim?
I hope he doesn't, but it's
sorry, Tim, but I can't foresee it.
The way it's gone so far, I just I want to believe that this is the week, but until it happens, his matchups look pretty favorable to me. So, that might be the least favorable matchup out of any of his. But
Kyron against Chicago, though. Chicago's had a good defense. Yeah, Chicago's defense. I was surprised when you drafted them, but they've been really good this year.
And that's the thing about that. It's a double-edged sword because if Kyron does manage to shred him, then that's taking away points from me. So I certainly hope they shut him down. That would help. But yeah, they have looked pretty good. Obviously, week 1 was incredible, but they've still. I don't think anyone scored 20 points against them yet. So, but I really wish I was getting Mixon back this week. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Would have been great to have him against Jacksonville, but. So it's I don't know. I am concerned about Justin Jefferson against the Packers. I think he's had some couple games where he's gotten shut down, but I think more often than not he's kind of lit him up.
He's about 15-20 points a game for the Packers.
Yeah.
He does find his space.
Yeah. So it's luckily it's at least at Green Bay. But
Green Bay's defense has been much better this year, right? They've been maligned the last couple of years, but this year they definitely look a lot better.
Jair Alexander's back, and they have been using him on number 1 receivers this year.
But they did play Tennessee, who's we know the quarterback struggles there, and they have played against the Colts. We know Anthony Richardson is still not as accurate as an NFL quarterback should be, so they got a little bit boost there. But this will be a great test for Sam Darnold, right? And that's a matchup, Tim, that you're going up against Sam Darnold versus Joe Burrow. Now, both are on the road. I give your quarterback the edge against Carolina. I think Packers defense is a much better defense than Carolina's defense, so I give you the edge there. From the running back, running back room, Kyron Williams and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is going up against Miami. Miami's defense is not good right now, but Jonathan Taylor is going up against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense has been outstanding so far. So Ricky gets the edge there at the Kyron spot. Against Chicago, because I think Kyron will be more involved than Jonathan Taylor will, because for some reason the Colts don't run the ball as much as they should, even with Anthony Richardson. I don't understand it.
They have one of the greatest quarterbacks of our generation. So you really can't blame him for watching him overthrow 10-yard passes and only complete half of his passes, and
less than half.
It's mind-boggling. I mean, he did.
Taylor got running
a lot
back
more
averaging
work
12
week.
yards per carry.
Yeah. So it's a tough matchup, but hopefully it's at least close so that it doesn't completely take Taylor out of the game. But because the Steelers don't score a ton of points, but the Colts defense is also not good. So.
And they lost Buckner. And the rush defense hasn't been very good. And they lost Buckner, who's their big guy in the middle last week. So that could make it even worse. So it could be a good Najee Harris week for you, Tim.
Yeah, I like Najee Harris this week for sure.
Yeah, he's not a guy I'm gonna like every week, but this week better than previous weeks for sure. So, but I just
could be a good matchup for him.
Yeah, so it's. I don't know. I just, like I said, I would feel a lot more confident if I had Mixon back, but unfortunately he got injured on an illegal tackle that wasn't penalized or fined. So, we'll see. Hopefully he's back next week.
Yep. So that Najee Harris only projected 10 points against Indy. I don't like that. I think he's going to do much better. Indy's run defense is not good. Right. Malik Willis showed that. Packers back and running back showed that. So he should have a good game against them. I'm actually surprised at the output they're expecting from Braylon Allen, only 7 points against Denver. I think Allen's going to be very involved in that game, and I think the Jets are going to be leading in that game, which is going to cause him to get even more touches. So I expect Braylon Allen to get 10 to 12 points in this game.
Well, I started him last week too, mainly because Mixon was out, and I kind of expected the same thing. And that game did go kind of the way I expected. He just didn't get a touchdown.
Didn't get the touchdowns.
So, he's that's kind of what I'm hoping for again this week. I think they will be ahead, and hopefully even further ahead to where Breece Hall is taken out of the game. I thought they had Breece Hall on way too late in the game last week. I think he was playing with 5 minutes left when they were up 21. So, I hope he can get back into the end zone this week. That would definitely help.
Yeah, I can see him being the hammer in the fourth quarter if they're ahead by 2+ scores, right? 2+ possessions. So that could be the case. The wide receiver position, even though you got Marvin Harrison and George Pickens, who I'm very high on this year, I definitely give the nod to Ricky there, right?
I think the overall edge probably goes to Ricky with Jefferson. I mean, Neighbors already had a 14-point day, but man, Marvin Harrison against that Washington defense, we've seen what number one receivers have done to him. If Kyler can connect with him, he could have that multiple touchdown game. He could do essentially what he did two weeks ago. Last week, he even put up 15 points, I want to say 13 points, but 2 weeks ago, he got 29. I think he gets another 20+ point day for Tim this week.
Yeah, I hope so. And I mean, it could be a more
matchups there.
He would have had a way bigger game against the Rams if it was close, I think. But the Rams just got blown out, so they weren't even really passing. He got all his points in the first quarter, so Washington should be more competitive, I think.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
at least keep up and make it a shootout.
Yeah. Marvin's gonna get triple covered, and it's not gonna matter. Washington can't cover,
anyone.
I mean, it didn't seem like they were doubling Chase or
leaving him out there. Yeah.
Which is surprising. They got Dan Quinn as their head coach, a great defensive mind, and I was like, what is going on?
Just don't think they have the personnel right now. So
but tight end,
brutal. Brutal.
Not great. Yeah, not great. Yeah. I guess I give the edge to Ricky.
Yeah, I'm definitely giving the edge to Ricky only because it's troubling how few routes Andrews is out there running. It hasn't been great.
They're both tied for 26th.
Yeah, plus based on what Tim was saying about the matchup with the Chargers, apparently Kelsey loves playing the Chargers. We got those stats at the beginning of the podcast.
My only hope is, that the Ravens are going to be playing from behind, and that'll force the pass a little bit more. Yeah. And they're better at defending receivers and tight ends, I think. So that's kind of,
The Bills are susceptible to the tight end. I mean, look who scored for Jacksonville last week. It was Brandon Strange. The tight end was the only one who scored against them. I mean, and the week before, the same thing. Buffalo got scored against tight end. So if that's the only bright spot there is Buffalo is susceptible at the tight end position. So that's a plus for Mark Andrews.
Or Isaiah Likely.
Likely.
Yeah, I mean that's just brutal at this point. I don't know how much longer I can keep hanging on to him if he gives me another 0. It's just last year again. It's Cole Kmet all over again, except this time it's Mark Andrews who is allegedly a legitimate tight end. But same time, Travis Kelce, like I said, they're both averaging 2 points a game, both ranked 26th right now. So he's been just as brutal, but I think this is the get right game for Kelce, unfortunately.
There we
go. Brandon Strange and Zach Ertz are on the waiver wire, Tim. Just to let you know. Yeah.
Keep your options open.
Yeah.
Jacksonville player.
Backup tight end.
Not great.
Yeah. So who you leaning towards in this matchup here?
I think Ricky has a slight edge here. I think Ricky does, only because of the matchups. Tim's kind of laid out. Jonathan Taylor, if he doesn't get that good game against Pittsburgh, it could be rough for him to make up those points. The big opportunities for him, I see Braylon Allen and Marvin Harrison, but the tight end position, I don't see it. It's going to be ugly. And Justin Jefferson, I think he's going to get 100 yards and a touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah, so slight edge to Ricky. It really comes down. It really comes down to how well the Packers shut down Sam Darnold, if they can at all.
And
right?
Jefferson.
And Jefferson. Well, I mean, if they shut down Sam Darnold, that means Jefferson's not getting the ball. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. This is a real test.
If they shut down Jefferson, you could argue they shut down Darnold mostly too. I mean, but I'm hoping it's an Aaron Jones. I hope Aaron Jones gets 40 carries for the first time in his career.
Revenge fest. Oh gosh.
Yeah, just let him come back to Lambeau. Make sure he gets to do a Lambeau leap. I don't care how many carries it takes. So, but wishful thinking. I would get. It's more than a lean towards Ricky. Like I'm basically falling over.
You think he gets the high score of the week again?
Yeah.
Well, not again, but I mean in terms of the guys you're playing.
Yeah.
Oh.
4
for 4.
I wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
Just
all right.
Travis, just because like Travis Kelce, especially this week, has been getting so much, like, I don't know if you call it hate, but just there's a lot of attention on him not producing so far.
Yeah.
And his favorite team to play against is coming up on the schedule. So
he's got it circled.
Yeah. So I guess, I maybe he won't get the highest score because of his defense change. I'm still pretty surprised that he dropped the Chiefs, but but still, I foresee Jefferson and Kelce having big games, and then Pollard might even have a big game just because Miami's run defense has not been good.
So bad. Yeah. It could be within the range of outcomes there, right? That's true. So
I wish I got to play Alex like some people around here, but
oh wow! If only whoever built the schedule was kinder to you.
Hey, I'm just going to try to stay under the radar here, guys. All right, that's the goal. All right, last matchup: Cody versus Rob. Right, Rob got his first win.
Matchup for Rob. Finals rematch.
Finals rematch. Last year. Yeah, Rob was the 0-2 to start the season, but I was gracious enough to let him get his first victory against me last week because
very kind of you.
I was what so, a friend. I saw the desperation in his eyes. I was like, Rob, I want you to have this
victory.
Yeah, Jamar Chase was awesome last week for him. Right, we talked about the 0 RB strategy, not looking great, but Rob's actually projected to put up 91 points on the week. Cody, you're at 92, so this is probably the closest matchup as far as projection goes on the week between you two. Love it.
Yeah.
Now,
a lot of that comes from Jordan Mason for him.
Yeah, it does. New England, they projected 60 points against New England. I think that's a little high on the high side, but could be within the range of possibilities. If he gets 70, 80 yards and a touchdown, there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that's what he's been doing.
Yep. But I definitely give you the edge at the quarterback position. I like Patrick Mahomes versus the Chargers. We just talked about it. If Kelce somehow breaks out and has a great game, and Xavier Worthy does, Patrick Mahomes should be right in between that 17 to 20 point mark.
I'd be happy with that. It's not gone that well this year for him.
Surprisingly, no. I mean, and Patrick Mahomes it's been kind of a rough sledding. So you being the Patrick Mahomes manager, you had 13, 12, 17 as your output the last 3 weeks.
Yep. Not what I expected.
Not what
I was expecting totals in the 20s. I thought he would average 18 plus. He hasn't even broken 18 yet. I thought when they were adding Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, second year Rashee Rice, I thought this offense is going to be cooking. I got to kind of target Mahomes. He's not produced kind of like I was expecting. Luckily, Rashee Rice has been good, and other pieces on my team have helped carry me 2 victories, and that's why I'm 3-0. Playing Andrew definitely helps. Mahomes has not been the guy that I drafted him thinking he would be.
Yeah, and I mean, and Travis Kelce's production is kind of a product of that too. They're just like not on the same page this year.
No.
I don't know what it is exactly, but I mean, I saw some stuff earlier, like they were showing clips of him where, it looked like Kelce was open, pass that he would normally throw to him, but for whatever reason he doesn't. There's been a few examples of that. So, but I mean, Kelce has been on the receiving end of, 80 to 100 yards a game from him usually, and he's just always been such a chain mover,
Yeah.
and that's just not happening so far this year. So it is pretty weird, but
and it could be worse. I mean, there's been, I think, at least one, if not two per game, interceptions he's thrown that have been called back on penalties. So his output could be even less.
I mean,
just,
if you really think, if you think
Mahomes
about it,
treat.
they should be 1-2, right? They should have lost to Cincinnati. They should have lost to Atlanta. I mean, those.
Or at least one of those two. Maybe it's a coin flip both times.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even if they do get the ball, at or near the goal line, they still have to put it in, without Pacheco, which it's not a guarantee. Especially with Atlanta or who was it? Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Or no, it was Atlanta. Especially with the Chiefs' defensive line, they still could have stopped them at the goal line potentially. It wouldn't be a guarantee, but at least one of those two games they should have lost. Yeah.
It's been strange production,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
But I give you the edge over Derek Carr. Right? We talked about the $51 man, Derek Carr. So
yeah, we'll see if he can hook up with Shaheed again for a long one.
Again, it's boom or bust, right? Derek Carr kind of hinges on what Shaheed does, right? If he hits that,
and Kamara, those dump offs add up.
Yeah. So, and again, a tough matchup. This doesn't look great. Cody, I definitely give you the edge at the running back position. Derrick Henry and Devon Achane both have. Derrick Henry doesn't have a great matchup. Buffalo's defense is pretty good, but still, as long as the Ravens commit to the run and try to keep Lamar clean, he should get enough volume and work to put up double digits, no problem.
He was looking like old Derrick Henry against Cowboys last week. Stiff arms, running through people.
Oh, yeah. He looked very spry, very spry. Yep. He looked very fresh. So maybe it was just them kind of taking a couple weeks to work him into the system, and looks good now. So good test for him this week, though. But Devon Achane against Tennessee. Tennessee's a pretty good defense. I actually think the projection is a little high. Because if they're playing with the third string QB, what's Tennessee going to do? They're going to stack that box with 8 players. Now, Achane's very elusive, but if they don't have a pass scheme at all, I mean, Achane's basically going to just get pinned down in there. So
you're hoping for him to break one to the edge and just blow by people with that 4.2 speed.
If they can even do it, we'll see. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, Miami I still have to start him though. You
have to. Same. We're all stuck in that position. If you got Achane, if you got Hill, you got to start him. It's a terrible situation.
Yep.
I love your flex spot though. Chuba Hubbard should have a great game against Cincinnati. I think he'll get a lot of work there.
I think so too.
But I think I give him the edge as Nico Collins against Jacksonville. I think this is a
big game. He just popped up on the injury report today, though. I think something happened to him at practice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, hamstring.
He was limited at hamstring at practice on Thursday.
Yeah, he practiced fully Wednesday and then limited Thursday. So something happened at practice with that hamstring.
These guys need to go stretch, man.
Yeah.
Are they not stretching? What's going on here? Groin injuries, hamstring injuries. My goodness.
Yeah. They got lots of volunteers who would sign up to, help massage and stretch them out.
So at the wide receiver position, DK versus Jamar and Rashee Rice versus Garrett Wilson. Whew. The only one that has a really plus matchup is Jamar Chase at Carolina. Outside of that, your 2 wide receivers
I would put DK as a plus matchup. I mean, we saw what the Rams receivers did to the Detroit. Detroit has a strong run defense, but they can be beaten through the air.
They can be beaten through the air.
You can see what DK did to him last year as well against the same matchup. He definitely has the better receivers, better matchups over there. But don't count my guys out. Rashee Rice is he top 5? He's number 4 on the year in fantasy points. He's got a lot of those catches.
He's been awesome. He's definitely a target hog there right now for sure.
Yeah, Metcalf is number 6 just based off what he's done the last 2 weeks alone. I think this is a positive matchup for DK. I'd still rather have his receivers in this matchup, but I still like mine here.
Garrett Wilson's going to get a whole lot of Patrick Surtain, right? We talked about that. He's locked down, so I actually think that's a little too high, the 8 points for him, but Jamar Chase should pop off again for another 100 yards and a touchdown.
You would think so. Yeah, that 11 is probably a bit low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Garrett Wilson is, you mentioned Surtain, and then he and Rodgers just don't seem to be quite on the same page either. Like they tried to hit a lot of back shoulder throws last week that just kept missing.
So is this the
it's not
matchup
a
where
good
you guys
spot.
would play London? London was, he took 4 receivers pretty early, and we've kind of pointed that out. Would you swap out Wilson for London in this matchup?
I like
I'd play Shakir.
Shakir.
Yeah.
Exactly. I play
Oh,
Shakir
okay.
against
Okay.
Baltimore. Baltimore's defense has been atrocious.
Okay.
And the
Shakir
way
has been consistent too. I mean, he's kind of been unsung, but he's got, 10, 6, 14 points. He's
targets
ranked
have
number
gone
18.
targets have
So
gone up every game. Yards have gone up every game. Receptions have gone up every game. So he's trending up in the right direction. Right? He scored in the last game. So I think he's the only viable receiver on the Bills.
Okay.
I love the matchup because Baltimore's defense had just been getting. Look what Dallas did to them. Dallas, against the Giants tonight, got mustered up a couple touchdowns. One because Rico Dowdle broke free for 15 yards, and then CeeDee Lamb did what CeeDee Lamb does. But outside of that, they really couldn't move the ball that well in the air. Some passes to Ferguson, but look what they did to Baltimore last week. They shredded Baltimore's defense.
A lot of that was in the second half. I think at halftime they only had 3 points. They were really held down up until halftime, and then I kind of stopped watching. I don't know what happened in that second half, but they caught almost all the way back up and almost won that game.
Yeah,
that was a lot of second half.
It was garbage time for sure.
It was garbage time, but the Raiders did it the week before in the second half, and the Raiders were trailing. The Raiders did same thing. So
maybe it's a mentality thing.
Yeah,
getting complacent if you're up.
So
yeah.
I'm with you, Tim. I like Shakir over Garrett Wilson, and just because I'm playing
that's a big move to make. Yeah.
But just based on what I've seen, I think it's easier at this point to consider benching Wilson against the top corner like that, just because like they're out of sync anyway, and it's just going to be that much tougher if he's totally blanketed. So.
Rodgers admitted it last week. He said every defense to go up against is scheming to take Garrett Wilson out of the game.
As they should.
Yeah, until someone else steps up. I mean, Lazard's been okay, but they need Mike Williams to kind of step up and take some pressure off.
Yeah.
To catch the ball in the end zone and hold on to it. You mean that things like that?
Yeah. Well, I think I remember what you're talking about, and it wasn't. It kind of got dislodged, I think.
He had it up at the high point, and he came down with it, and then the guy, when it was here at the chest, hit it out of his hands, and he dropped it. If he would have kept it high, he scores easy.
Yeah, true. But he might have to, depending on what's going on with Nico, he might have to swap him out instead of Garrett Wilson. So
yeah.
I don't know that I would, Drake London maybe, but he hasn't really looked particularly great. It seems like Kirk Cousins likes throwing to Darnell Mooney a little bit more than London. So
I
don't know.
I don't like the New Orleans matchup. Those are always unique, tight games against division opponents, especially down there with New Orleans and Atlanta. They always play very tough games in the Superdome too. So I kind of stay away from that matchup. If it was outdoor somewhere, Drake London is playing, mid-tier like a Tennessee or Indianapolis, I'd fire up Drake London, but I don't like him against the New Orleans matchup.
Yeah.
So, tight end, I actually give the edge to you, Cody. Cole Kmet.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Dalton Kincaid, he did score last week, but overall, he's been not great. He's been pretty bad. The targets finally got up to 5 targets in the last game, but again, they got him involved early, and then they went away from him. He didn't play the entire second half, and who knows if they would have done that. And look, Jacksonville's just terrible. I mean, that again, he is playing the Baltimore defense. If that game is close and it's a shootout, Dalton Kincaid can be involved in that. But Cole Kmet is really the number 2 receiver on the team right now behind DJ Moore.
Odunze had a good week last week. I think Odunze's working his trust up there.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about Caleb Williams, and who's the safety blanket? It's Cole Kmet.
Yeah. And he chooses to use it.
Yeah, they finally were smart and started him over Garrett Everett, which turned out to be a good thing, right? So I like Cole Kmet against the Rams. We saw what
good matchup.
McBride was shredding the Rams, and until he got hurt.
Yeah.
So
and he had a good week last week, so I'm kind of playing the tight end roulette game here until Njoku comes back. So Yeah,
Now
it's kind of a dart throw, but hopefully it works out.
Yeah. So in this matchup, yeah, this is gonna be a very tight one. Yikes.
Come on, Jake Moody, baby. Come on.
Jake Moody is gonna be the
You
difference.
forgot to go to the kicker matchup here. Jake Moody,
I'm looking at Blake Groupie. Groupie's gonna get 7 points this week. So
yeah, Moody will get 9.
All right, I guess New England. Okay, that's within the realm of possibility.
You know, they'll get in the red zone and maybe not, score a touchdown. So we'll get some 40-yard field goals here.
Yeah. And now I do see Houston defense playing against Jacksonville offense, though. Oh my goodness, that's a juicy matchup.
Oh boy, that could help him out quite a bit.
Quite a bit. So yeah,
for me, that's kind of the only clear advantage I see on either side is the defense.
And maybe the running backs.
Yeah, I think especially with Ford being questionable, he's got a banged up knee or something. Who knows if he plays a little bit less or not that he's really been great anyway.
Plus, they've been using more Foreman too, I think, over there.
Yeah, and
he's been getting involved a little bit more. Yep.
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me with Derrick Henry is just the game script. If it gets if they fall behind,
start throwing the ball, he's off the field.
Because they, last week against Dallas, they controlled the game, and that's exactly the type of game where he's going to feast. So if they can do it against Buffalo, easier said than done.
It'll be a lot harder though.
Yeah, for sure. So
okay. So QB and running back, I give you the edge, Cody, for sure. Wide receiver, I give Rob the edge.
Okay.
Defense, I give the Rob the edge. But kicker, I guess I'm gonna have to go Jake Moody.
There we go.
Against New Orleans. I think Rob squeaks out a win by a 2-point margin. It's gonna be
gets his revenge.
It's gonna be a 2-point game, and it's gonna be like a 94, 91, or 92 type game. Very close.
Okay.
Very, very close.
Okay.
Yeah, Rob's not saying it's gonna come from Derek Carr. He's gonna not give the outward except from Derek Carr, but he's going to get it from either Nico or Jamar Chase. Those two matchups and that defense, those matchups are just juicy.
Yeah.
So you're just flip-flopping the ESPN projection score? Is that it?
Is that what's going on here?
No.
92, 91?
No. I said 94.
94, 92.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2-point game.
I thought you said 92, 91.
No. 94, Rob, 92,
still
Cody.
Very close.
Very close.
Yeah.
I think ESPN's not giving Rob enough respect. See? So
okay.
There you go, Rob.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm getting the proper respect.
You're getting the proper respect. That's right.
Okay.
I think 91 projection is solid. So
I
don't know. I would give a slight edge to Cody just because of the question marks, especially with Rob. A hamstring injury popping up in the week for Nico Collins is not great.
I think that's what happened to AJ Brown, if I remember right. And yeah, he's been out.
Yeah. So that's Nico's Jamar Chase is probably his best receiver, but Nico Collins is right there with him. So that would be a big downgrade. So
yeah, well, I'll take it. I give the edge to Rob, but I mean, come on, I'm gonna beat him. Let's be honest, I'm gonna beat him. Come on, I beat him in the finals. He didn't even reply to my text asking to split the money. Come on, this guy. There's no way I'm gonna let him beat me. I beat Edgar last week. I got my revenge for him beating me in the finals. 2-3 years ago. I'm happy to beat Edgar every time I play him. But Rob, come on, I'm gonna beat Rob. Let's go.
All right, nice. Well, that's it. We're there for that. So all the matchups are done. Cody. Yeah. I know we have a last segment here, so
we got a little reaction theater to go through here. I don't know if you guys are aware. We got a short little reaction theater that for you too. Right now, as we mentioned with Carlos's team, Aubrey's the number 1 kicker. So looking at total points, he would be the number 7 running back if you took his point total, made him the running back. So this statement here, Aubrey finishes the year as a top. So for us, 12 team league as an RB1, so top 12 RB in scoring.
Oh my!
He's that valuable. Right now he's RB7. Will he finish as basically a top 12 RB in Turkeybowl scoring?
Whew.
So I'm saying yes. So is that the overreaction? So yeah, Aubrey finishes the year as a top 12 running back in scoring with his kicker points.
I'm just trying to think. I know I've looked back, and seen look back at like what kicker totals were from the years prior. Usually the top kicker, I think, scores around 140 points, give or take. A
Almost
lot of kickers.
200. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
we've seen, yeah. You've seen like 170 from, dude from Ravens. I mean, he's gotten up there.
I
Pretty
feel like
high.
I checked
Tucker.
last year and
Yeah,
like
Tucker.
but I think normally like 140 is usually like the top. And I mean, I think usually a top 12 running back ends up with well over that. I'm going to say overreaction.
This offenses are down this year, though. Don't forget, scoring's down, offenses are down.
Scoring's down. So Aubrey's through 4 games, right? He's the first kicker through 4 games this week, or him and Gano, and he's got 48 points on the season so far.
Yeah, RB7 right now.
That's pretty hefty. And so if you project that across, 3 more quarters essentially of the season, you're talking 150 to 200 points. Man, to get in the top 12 of running backs.
So I pulled it up from last year just right now. He scored 180 points, right? Which would have been good for running back number 14. So 14, he was just outside. Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Because I was going to say the top 12 running backs, I think the bottom guy gets close to 200 points. So out of the number 12 guy.
Looks like it ended up being about 188.
All right.
Yeah. And he ended up at 180.
I'm going to say Brandon Aubrey does not get to the top 12 of running backs.
So that's an overreaction.
Yeah, Dallas needs to get in the end zone, and they can't afford to just keep kicking field goals, not playing like this.
Okay.
So, yeah.
He did have a 17-point week 1.
Yeah.
So that's,
He'll need another 1 or 2 of those.
I mean, he's obviously got the leg to keep kicking the 50-plus yarders, which are 4 points. But yeah, I think based on what their defense is looking like so far, it seems like they're going to be trailing more often than they were last year.
That's a good point.
So, more likely to probably be trying to score touchdowns. Like even tonight, playing a close game against the Giants they weren't close last year. So I don't think they're as good this year, and we'll be probably going for it on 4th down a lot more often, trying to catch up than they were last year. So yeah, I'll say overreaction. Not by a whole lot, but like he'll probably be a top 20 range running back, I would guess. But yeah, it's hard to say. This is a weird year so far.
Yeah, it has been. Scoring's down. So if it does happen in a year, this year potentially could be the year it does actually happen. Yeah. Okay, this one.
Yeah, I like the top 20 running back, not top 12. That's
okay. Okay. This one could be pretty close to Manny's heart. So Jaden Daniels ends the season. He was drafted as QB number 9, ends the season as a top 5 QB. Tim, go ahead and take this one first. We'll finish with Manny.
Well,
he's QB3 right now.
Just based on how QBs have underperformed for the most part this year, I would say that's maybe almost an underreaction, but I'll say proper.
There we go, Tim. There we go.
It has more to do with how bad other quarterbacks have been. Like I liked what I saw from him against Cincy. He looked phenomenal. But first couple games were not that great. So it's like I would want to see more of that. More of the accurate passing. The passing game wasn't really working. Yeah, like the first couple games, passing wasn't great. He was running a little bit more.
Very horizontal.
But with his rushing ability, he's got a pretty safe floor. So, and he really hasn't. Has he turned the ball over yet? I don't feel like he has.
No interceptions
and no fumbles.
No fumbles.
So, I mean, that's huge as well. He's not really getting sacked much, not turning the ball over. If he continues that, then he's going to have a safe floor every week. And so I could see him being easily top 5, if health permitting, and if he has more games like this last one.
That's right.
Okay.
You said it there on the button, Tim, health permitting, but massive underreaction. Top 3 quarterback. Massive underreaction. Top 3 quarterback to end the season. He'll be behind Josh Allen and maybe Lamar or Kyler Murray.
Or Carr. Or Derek Carr.
or Derek Carr. Goodness, $51 man Derek Carr. No, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels.
Wow, so you're putting Kyler Murray in there too.
Yep, Kyler Murray
Big return. Wow, we're almost happy to hear that. I bet.
I'm sure.
Didn't you draft a second quarterback?
I did, Jared Goff. And
So
I already dropped him. He's gone.
Well, why'd
Ricky
you do
has
that?
him now, I think.
Why'd you do that if you were so confident in him?
Oh yeah, good point. That is a good point.
I because he's a running quarterback, I wanted to hedge my bets, but I was like, and he wasn't. You saw in that first week, the dude didn't slide. I was like terrified for him. I'm like, why won't this dude slide? He like kept falling to his knees. I'm like, you're gonna get killed, man. And then he finally,
yeah. He
yeah,
kind of got like a sarcastic round of applause from his coach, I think, when he slid.
yes. So as long as the dude's sliding, I'm like, whew, breathing a sigh of relief. Like, all right, let's go. Fire it up, Jaden. Wheels up. We're out.
Okay. All right. There we go. So all these were written before the podcast began. So we do have this one here is a Turkey Bowl reaction theater. So our matchup, as we kind of looked at, Manny versus Alex. This is the only matchup with 2 1-2 teams here. We showed there was a chunk of 5 teams that are stuck at 1-2. I'm going to say this matchup is a loser leaves town match. Whoever loses this game misses the playoffs. Is that still too early? Is that an overreaction? Is it an underreaction? Could both teams miss the playoffs? Or is that a proper reaction one of these two misses, depending on who loses?
I would say overreaction just because of how early it is.
You did see Alex's team, though.
Well, I know, but I'm thinking if Manny, for whatever reason, does happen to lose, I don't think that means he misses the playoffs. If Alex loses, it could be an underreaction because his team is looking pretty dire right now. So that's the only reason I would say it's an overreaction, just because it kind of depends on who actually loses. But I think Manny's team is a lot more promising, even if he does happen to lose. Kind of like, I'm 0-3, and it's not because my team's not scoring points. It's just because I've had the wrong opponents. So
just because the schedule gods didn't favor you.
No, not at all. I don't know what I did, but I need to repent, apparently.
Manny, you're involved here. What do you say?
Yeah, very much involved. So, obviously, from my end, I'm not going to overreact. I've been in, as long as I've played in this league, I've started 0-3, 0-4 before, and I've never once not made the playoffs in this league. So, members never to be in the bottom 4, which is a very, good accomplishment. I was very close one year. The first year I lived in Japan, I was on the borderline of being in that bottom 4, and it was crazy. ESPN ranking system put me into the 8th spot, and that's why we had a member leave the league because he was not happy with how that happened. But that's how it goes. But
when you're the commissioner,
I'm the commissioner. You don't commissioner.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes. But no, you don't give up. For me, I never give up. I always play through the end. I play through even when I get to the playoffs. I play those weeks because you never know what can happen on any given week on what players will pop off. Right? You can still get the highest points even if you're not playing in a game that matters. So I never stop playing. I play the full 17 weeks of fantasy football because I enjoy it that much. So I'm always going to give myself a chance to have the opportunity to get in. And you can always get into playoffs with a losing record too. So no overreaction there. I would say
many times.
It happens many, many times, especially in this league. Yeah. Now, on the Alex side of things, it's only more dire because, yes, if he loses this week, he starts in a really, really massive hole, but he doesn't have the talent on his team to be better, right? Like, my team has a lot of great starting running backs. I took a chance on J.K. Dobbins, who might turn out to be a great pick this year. Tyreek Hill, if they get some sort of semblance of quarterback play back, that will upgrade that position. Jaden Daniels, if he ends up being that top 3 quarterback, like I'm saying, that's always going to give me a position to have a guy put up 20, 30 points a week. That's huge in fantasy football. So, Alex, I don't see that output right now. I think Jalen Hurts, the only guy right now in his roster that could potentially do that. He put a meme.
Once AJ Brown comes back, he has him.
He has him. But
that's not what he did week 1.
But the hamstring injuries always scare me, right? Those linger. So
no. But I mean, he does have those injuries. Does Pacheco ever come back this year? We don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got that surgery.
A lot of his thing is injury problems.
Mm-hmm. And he put that meme up of Deadpool, right? And from Deadpool 2, or Deadpool 2, where the team goes flying in, down, and then they're all dead, and he goes, "Well, guys, they're all dead." And, so that's Alex's team right now. He's like, "Yeah, the whole team's dead." So
yeah, pretty much.
He's acknowledged it.
Okay, so an overreaction from both of you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Jump into the real football world here. So we have the Packers 0-1 with Love and 2-0 with Willis. So there is a QB controversy in Green Bay.
Oh boy! As soon as I heard the radio, here we go. Yeah, massive controversy, right? Malik Willis is the I called back-to-back Hall of Famers, right, for the Packers. Remember that text a couple weeks ago? No, let's pump the brakes here. Maybe Malik Willis has done a great job in keeping the Packers afloat. They have a winning record, but Jordan Love is going to be
QB1 on the team.
QB1 in the team, QB1 in the heart. So
all right, I had to try. Let's see. I got 2 more here, both Turkey Bowl related. So this one is Nick Chubb and Jordan Mason carry Rob to Turkey Bowl finals. He'll be back-to-back finals, carried on the backs of the running back he happened to pick up that's replacing a top pick, and then the running back he drafted coming back from a knee injury. Because if they don't come back, if Mason doesn't stay the guy all year long, if Chubb doesn't come back in this Chubb, there's he might miss the playoffs. So I'm going to say both of them all year long. Rob makes the finals.
If they're both the guys, you're saying if
I'm just saying they end up Chubb ends up coming back, Mason ends up keeping the job, and they carry him to the finals. That's the statement. If you don't think, if you think CMC comes back, if you don't think Chubb will be the guy, maybe it's an overreaction, but I'm saying they're going to be the ones that carry him to the finals.
Boy, that's that's so many variables there.
Yep.
So many unknowns.
Yep. So what makes this reactive theater?
But if Mason is the guy all year, and if Chubb is Chubb still when he comes back with his receivers that he's got, quarterback's still going to be a question mark, I think. But maybe it won't matter if he's got, those 2 stud running backs and 3 stud wide receivers. Then I could see that happening. But I don't feel strongly about it either way. So I guess
slight overreaction then maybe from Tim.
Slight over, yeah.
Okay,
just because I mean, I really wish the 49ers were more forthcoming with McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But there's just such a cloud over that. It's like you would think if there was something really significant that they would just shut him down for the year and be done with it. So they're still leaving the door open for him, and if he's back, I think Mason takes a major back seat. So
yeah. And if Chubb comes back and he's not that same guy, then he's kind of really stuck.
And plus, he's been on some bad offenses there, but it just, I mean, if he is himself, then I guess that definitely helps the overall offense.
Yeah.
Maybe they're all better, but still looks like it's not going to be a very good offense that he's on. So if he is his old self, he could be, facing some really stacked boxes, but It was a bold strategy for Rob, though, and I mean, it could pay off. That could, that's obviously exactly what he's kind of banking on, and it pays off. It could be legendary.
We'll see if it works for him, Cotton.
Yeah.
Manny.
That's right. I'm gonna say my slight overreaction.
Okay.
I think McCaffrey will make it back. There's a reason he went to go get that Kobe type of procedure done, right?
Yep.
He's going to Europe because they're going to give him a higher dosage, a stronger dosage, not one that he can get in the U.S., which means his recovery time is going to be quicker, right?
You would hope so.
So McCaffrey's coming back. They've already seen our team already knows they can't function without him 100%, right? If they could easily say, nope, he's out for the year, they could do that. Why did they do what they did? Because they know they need him to win. So 100% he's coming back to the team. Nick Chubb, I would say that's more of a unknown than McCaffrey coming back, right?
Yeah.
Who knows how he's going to look? As Tim said, when he comes back, is that injury he sustained was
that knee got bent,
unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. Right, there'll be some jitters.
Had to
He's
have. I
not in
believe he
ga-
had to have 2 or 3 surgeries to completely fix it.
Yeah, and he's going to take time to get into game shape, and right when you're in the game compared to not playing football for a whole year, it's very, very different. So
Yeah.
I don't see Chubb even.
Sounds
late
like
in the
you think it's
season.
a stronger overreaction, not a slight one, a pretty solid overreaction. It sounds like
it's only a slight overreaction because the running back room is still going to be okay. It's not going to be as good as we all think. The wide receiver is still going to carry him to the playoffs.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought as much. One last one here. From what I have, Turkey Bowl related, of course. Tim ends the season winless. He's 0-3 right now. Moving forward, a lot of his matchups haven't been that close. If his trend continues of allowing, his fantasy defense isn't very good because he's clearly allowing 115 points per game against. So I'm going to say Tim ends the season winless.
Yeah, I'm like the Cowboys of the league right now, aren't I? I cannot stop my opponents,
other people from scoring on you.
Running backs and quarterbacks. Let's see, who is it? Josh Allen,
Kamara,
Shaheed, Kamara, Saquon.
Yeah.
I mean, really, the kick in the nuts for this week was I could have just drafted Saquon instead of Jonathan Taylor, and that would have been enough to get me the win. But a lot of us could have drafted Saquon.
A lot of could have drafted Saquon.
We let him fall to number 9, so
yeah,
I'm not the only one. But I feel like I shouldn't even answer this one. But I mean, at this point, it feels absolutely possible. I feel like it's an overreaction just because, like, come on, I have to win at least once. But I don't know,
Yeah.
I don't know what I did to offend the fantasy gods, but I repent fully.
Okay.
So,
Manny?
You're playing Andrew week 7.
Oh, there we go.
Tim. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
So if I lose to Andrew week 7, then it's all over. Is that what
it's on? Then it's on.
Okay, that is 100% the linchpin game right there, right?
Donut watch is on after week 7.
You got Andrew week 7. So, but listen to your stretch though. You got Andrew, Romo, Edgar and Rob, and Alex. Oh my goodness, that's 5. I'm calling 5 wins from week 7 to week 10, week 11 for.
Wow, Reddy's saying a 5-game win streak for Tim, starting with Andrew. Wow,
nope,
bold prediction.
So.
Yeah,
that would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's not like my team isn't scoring. I would have beaten anyone else. Romo had the same points, but I had more bench points. I would have beaten him. Yeah. I played the only team that could have beaten me last week. So the weeks before, I would have, I think I had like the 6th highest score in weeks 1 and 2, which, flip a coin, you might win or lose those. But
when you have 3 is the one that hurts.
Yeah, that's brutal when you're the 2nd highest score and play the highest score. So yeah, it's I still, I like a lot of my players. I'm sure I'll win at least one game. So
sure you'll win at least one. I'd go overreaction as well.
7 through 11. I'm telling you, it's going to be a rattle or a 5-game winning streak.
Have we seen the Turkey Bowl regular season someone go winless? Has it happened?
It was close, but it has not happened. But it was close.
Okay, so I don't think Tim will be the first either.
I think we might have talked about that last year because
we might have. We had a couple guys that were like 0-4, 0-5.
Why did Andrew start like 0-7 or 0-6 or something like that?
Ended up going that far. Yeah.
So we had that discussion at that point. But yeah, I've never. I don't know actually what my worst. I mean, I got the loser bowl trophy one year in this league, but I still won 4 or 5 games that year. I don't think I've definitely never gone winless.
Yeah, so, that's tough to do.
Yeah, that would almost be more impressive than going undefeated. I think just because actually not
trying.
So
yeah. All right. Well, that's all we have. Reaction theaters now closed for the evening.
All right.
Good
Great
question.
stuff, guys.
All
Yeah,
right.
nice work. Well, good luck this week in the matchups. Everyone watching, good luck. Have fun. And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next week.
See you next week.
All right.
Guys, have a good one.
Good luck, y'all.
Good night.
See ya.